Good morning and welcome to today's edition of Monday Morning Mobility. My name is Jeff Blanchard and I'm coming to talk to you a little bit about what you can do to keep yourself moving and help decrease pain or prevent pain, hopefully, for the future. The topic that we're going to be discussing today is pain in the elbow. So probably one of the most common elbow problems we see is something called tennis elbow, and sometimes something called golfer's elbow. So let me first explain to you what the difference is between tennis elbow and golfer's elbow. Now, both of these diagnoses are, it comes from the tendon attachment to the bone on either this side or this side. They're typically overuse injuries. So if you have used your hand too much in a certain way, let's say with a tennis racket, or let's say chopping vegetables, or it can be a number of different ways. I would say probably more people come and see us for these kinds of scenarios, not playing tennis and not playing golf. But it is common with these different sports. So it is an overuse injury involving the tendon on a certain side of the elbow. Tennis elbow occurs on the side of the thumb, so it's out this direction. So this is where the main pain is located. Golfer's elbow is actually on the opposite side. It's on the side of the pinky, on this side of the arm. So with golfer's elbow, typically there's something where you're going in this direction that overuses these muscles versus something where you're going in this direction here, which overuses these muscles through here. So the symptom is just general achiness and pain, especially when you use your hand or when you grip something and you lift it up. So especially something that's heavy, a pot or something like that will oftentimes create a lot of elbow pain. So what should you do if you start to have this problem? Well, number one, the main thing is you got to figure out why you had it. If you don't figure out why you have a problem, how are you going to actually fix the problem? So there's probably something that you're doing in your day-to-day where you're overusing some of the tissues of your elbow. And if you're not quite sure what it is, that might be a good time to have a discussion with your physical therapist. I used to teach people to stretch these problems out. And I have since learned in the recent years that actually stretching a tendon that has been traumatized can actually make the problem worse. So typically when you have a tendonitis, which is what this is, a tendon problem, if you try to just pull through it, that can just irritate it. And actually the best thing that you can do is, number one, again, stop the problem, start to do some things to get blood flow into the tendon, get some blood in there, and then start to use the tendon in a gentle way and start to just gradually strengthen the area and improve its tolerance to what you want to do. Usually this problem comes on because you were doing something and you didn't quite have the strength and the tissue health to be able to tolerate what you were doing. One of my favorite ways to treat this type of a problem is actually with a handheld instrument. Now this is one of the ASTYM tools that we use in the clinic. There are various tools that are just made out of plastic that can help us deliver a treatment to the tissue that will help the tissue recover faster. And so what I might do with this tool is I might take the tool and then go along the tissue with a certain amount of pressure in order to help to loosen up what we would call adhesions or scar tissue that might be building up, and in order to really stimulate the blood flow to get into that area. Or I might say come along and through here where I can work into this portion of the tissue and again just really work on stimulating the blood flow to get into this tissue. And you'll typically find that after you do treatment like this, it'll actually feel a lot better for you to be able to use your hand and use your elbow. Now, most people don't have a handy dandy little ASTYM tool in their house, but most people have a spoon. Now the spoon is actually shaped very similarly to the ASTYM tool. So what I might do if I have that, take that spoon, is I can do the same thing. I can go along the tissue, and in the same way, I can work on loosening up some of the adhesions, some of that scar tissue that's through here, get that blood flow into the area, and get that area feeling a lot better. So that's one example of something that you can do to stimulate healing in that tissue. The next thing that you might do, let's say it's a tennis elbow, which is on the thumb side, you might just gradually start working on an isometric. An isometric is an exercise where you push against something but nothing moves. So if I want to work this area, I might say block the top of my hand, hold my elbow bent, and then give myself some gentle pressure. The thing about an isometric is you don't want to push so hard where you start to bring pain on. That would be counter helpful. So you want to push enough where you feel like you're doing something, but not so much that it's creating any symptoms. So this is an exercise. You might hold this for 10 seconds and then give it 10 seconds of a break. And then go back and do another 10 seconds on, and then give it 10 seconds of a break. And you might say do that 5 to 8 times. Golfer's elbow, well, then you're going to go the other way. You're going to come to here and you're going to resist going in this direction. So now I'm pushing my wrist this way, but I'm just blocking my wrist as I'm going into this, and I'm just holding that pressure. 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and then repeat, just as we did for the tennis elbow. The goal with this is that you gradually start to get that tissue being able to tolerate a little bit more force and a little bit more force until you're able to go back to the thing that you want to do and not have the pain and injury from what you were doing previously. If you find that doing some of these things don't help after trying them for, say, up to 2 to 3 weeks, then I would suggest that you reach out to your physical therapist and let them know, I've tried some of these things, what else can I do? Come in and see us. There's a whole lot more that we can do. There might be a lot more behind this problem than what you can figure out. That's why we're here, so come in and see us. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Monday Morning Mobility. If there's someone that you can share this with, please do. Please leave us a thumbs up. Until the next time, remember, if you don't move it, you'll lose it.